Hello everyone, it's Shel from Pebeo Studio. Today is day 29 of hashtag Art Journal Habit 2017. This is a daily art journal challenge from Art Joy of Sharing Facebook group that Peg Robinson and I have together. For this prompt, the prompt is leaf, and I just wanted to play with shimmery stuff. You know, I get in the mood to play with shimmery stuff quite a bit. And of course, it's not as shimmery on the video as it is in real life, but hey, you know, you get the idea. So I started out covering my pages with some Jelly Deli paper. This would be paper that has been printed on a gel plate, and I have videos on my channel if you want to see how that's done. These are ones that I have laying around, and they are printed on something called deli paper, which is a lightweight paper that's kind of like parchment paper, and it is used in the United States to wrap sandwiches and things, and that's the reason that it's called deli paper, because if you wanted to buy a sandwich you might get it from the deli and they might wrap it in this paper. It's a lot stronger than tissue paper. It's not bothered by getting wet, so it's great for a lightweight collage paper that you can use on your gelatin plate, whatever brand you get, Jelly Arts or Gel Press or Speedball, whatever. It's great for that. So these have shimmery paints on them already. There's some copper, there's some blue-black from Pebeo or Pebeo, however you want to say it. That's a really cool kind of purple color that's very shimmery and iridescent. And I don't know, it's got something else on there, I'm not sure. But these are just random pieces that I have laying around, and I'm just tearing them up and using them to cover the ads that this book is made out of. This is a junk journal, and below in the description box you can see link to where I made this journal. I used stab binding and bound together a bunch of pieces of junk mail, the cardstock weight type stuff that you get in the mail constantly. I just saved some of it, bound it together to make this journal. So of course I need to cover up those ads because you don't want that on your page. As I'm working through it, I realize how many Verizon Wireless and Comcast Xfinity ads I get. I mean, that's what the majority of this is. It's crazy. Those people are just wasting paper. They need to stop. Besides, I already have Verizon and Xfinity, so why do they continue to bug me about it? I don't know. So one of these pieces actually, I forgot to mention, is on cardstock, and it's on a glossy cardstock, so it's a little bit harder to glue down than the other pieces. It's the one that has the white edges, and just a scrap of something that I made at some point. So I was really into the idea of fall leaves, and you know, I never really made anything for Thanksgiving, you know, no art, Thanksgiving art or anything, or not a whole lot of fall art, and I love leaves. They're one of my favorite things. Leaves, snowflakes, and circles are my favorite shapes. Do you have a favorite shape? Because I do. If you have a favorite shape, tell me about it in the comments below, because I would be interested to know if I'm the only crazy person who really gravitates to certain shapes. Spirals and circles kind of on the same level. Those are probably on the top. And then leaves would be second and snowflakes would be third. And these are interesting shapes to me. They fascinate me. So yeah, leave me a comment. So I'm just continuing to tear this paper, and you may ask yourself or me, why did I tear up the paper? Why didn't I just stick the whole page down and call it good? Because it's, you know, that one page with the compass rose on it is there. It's just in pieces. It's because I didn't want any specific pattern, and also it is easier to collage smaller pieces of paper in this type of a project where it's you know, a book and it wants to flap open and everything. it's easier to do smaller pieces anyway. And I knew that the 3 pieces that I had with copper on them weren't all the same, and so I needed to mix it up and make it more of a random background. So those are the reasons. Then I'm using this copper iridescent paint by Pebeo to kind of blend together the pieces. I didn't like where the cardstock tore into a white edge. That bothered me, so I covered that up, and I also used a little bit of the blue black, I think, around here and there. Then I got out a few stencils that have random patterns. This one is a Harlequin. It's probably my #1 stencil. It's from the Crafter's Workshop, and it's just a 6x6 Harlequin. I will link all the materials that I used in the description box below. And I'm using a cosmetic sponge to just add more pattern and really randomize this background. I don't want it to be, I don't want it to look like anything when you look at it. I want it to just be very, a lot of visual texture and very random. Then I use a couple other stencils, this onion one, and then that other one's called Sound Waves, and I think that it's discontinued because I couldn't find it when I was trying to make my list, so I couldn't even find anything similar. I think it was Balzer's Designs, and I think it was called Sound Waves, but I don't know what happened to it. Using gold paint as well, silver and gold. So I'm really sticking with the metallic-y type paints on this background, because even that purpley color is called blue black iridescent, and that's from Pebeo as well, iridescent paint. So then I went and got some stamps, and oh, I guess I dried first and then I stamped. I don't know. Starting out with my Memento Tuxedo Black ink. This is an archival ink. It doesn't come off if it gets wet. So similar to a Ranger archival ink, I just happen to have this one on my desk. This one is really good if you're going to stamp an image and then color it with alcohol markers. That's the reason that I bought it, because it really will stay. It doesn't run at all, but it's been on my desk for a while. I've been using it to stamp the dates on these pages. So then I was looking for another color of ink to use, and I really didn't like any of my choices. I decided to go with a light color instead. So I'm going to use acrylic paint. This is Buff Titanium from Pebeo, and I've got this Whimsical Leaf stamp set from Stampin' Up, probably long discontinued. I couldn't find it anywhere, even on eBay. So, you know, you can use some other leaf stamp. Doesn't matter. It's not about the stamp, it's about the background. So I was just using acrylic paint. That's another good way to add something that's not going to move if you get it wet when you're doing mixed media. Of course, as soon as you are done stamping, you need to clean that acrylic paint off the stamp, because it will stick to it, because they're both a rubbery, plasticky type of a thing, and they will want to bind together. So you need to clean it off right away. There was a smaller leaf in there in the same set as well, so I just used that one around. And then with the leftover titanium paint, Buff Titanium paint, I just did some splatters and splashes. Don't want to waste the paint, you know. And I like splashes and splatters. They're fun. So then, once that was dry, I got out this folk art stencil. This one is one of my favorite. This is a great leaf stencil. I love it. I could have drawn the leaves, but hey, I have the stencil. I might as well use it. So I'm using a Stabilo All pencil. It's black. This pencil will write on anything, and it is highly water reactive. So I'm going to activate it in a bit. And I'm just drawing the leaf shapes using the stencil. This is a great option if you don't know how to draw. You can always use a stencil and draw around it. You don't have to just push paint through stencils. You can use them to draw as well. So I'm just putting some leaves across the page because the prompt is leaf. And hey, leaves are awesome. So today is Wednesday, and I did want to tell you that if you're looking for my art journal page for Thursday, which is the last day of the challenge, you will need to look over on the Art Joy of Sharing live stream channel, because Peg and I will be doing our pages for the prompt words, which is the last prompt on that channel live tomorrow at, what time do we do it? 9 a.m. my time. So keep that in mind if you're looking for that one. And then as far as the 3 days that I missed because of, life and my stupid computer and yeah, all that stuff, those will be coming up in December. So you can look out for the other 3 pages of this book and probably a flip through at some point of all the pages in December. So now I'm activating using a water brush, going around the edges of my leaves. I don't want to push the black color into the center. I want to push it outways so that the leaves stand out a little bit more from the background. That was my big plan. I had a big plan. Of course, a water brush is a type of synthetic bristled brush that has an empty barrel down the center, and you can put water in it, and then there's a little valve at the end, and then when you squeeze, the water comes out onto the bristles, so you don't have to dip your brush into water. And it's a very handy little tool to have. So my idea was that the leaves would stand out quite a bit from the background, and I decided they really didn't. But I didn't want to obliterate the background. I didn't want to take some acrylic paint or something and just completely cover it, because I spent all that time making it. I wanted it to be pushed back while still showing. So I decided to use Tattered Angel's Glimmer Mist to kind of push back the backgrounds. So I poured out a couple different colors of Glimmer Mist onto my craft pad there that is, the silicone kind that I've been using for a palette lately. And it's a purple color and a brown, and they are both very shimmery because they have a lot of mica in them. That's what Glimmer Mist has. And it, usually use it as a spray, but I'm just using it as a paint by pouring it out onto my mat and picking it up with my water brush. I'm not squeezing out any water onto my water brush at this point. I'm just using it as a brush. It's just like, why should I get out another brush if I already had this one in my hand? And this does exactly what I wanted. It makes the background more uniform, so it's pushing it back, and then the leaves where it's not colored with the Glimmer Mist stand out more. And it's not super dramatic, especially not in the video, but when you look at the close-ups at the end, you'll see that it does actually have a really cool effect. This is a technique that I like to do a lot. I mean, I think it's really fun to make some crazy colored thing and then eliminate the background and only have the things that you were drawing or stenciling come forward. I like to do that. I think it's a really fun technique. And I call it exclusion, but I don't think that that's what other people call it, because you exclude the background. So that's what I call it. But I can't remember what other people call it, so I don't know what it is. I know there's a name that other people say in their videos, and I can't remember what it is. So I'm just kind of using both the purple and the brown and blending them in different areas. I don't want it to be all one color. So then I still thought that I needed to have a better border around my leaves, so I decided to use this purple metallic glitter Posca pen, which comes in a set of glitter pens from Posca, and then also this silver metallic pen. and just draw around the edges of the leaves. I didn't go into the centers or anything. I just drew around the edges because I felt like they needed a line around them. I don't know why. I just did. I guess I wasn't ready to be done yet. I don't know. Not sure why I did it. I just did. And purple is not usually a fall leaf color, so it's a little bit different, but purple, I love purple. I also use that purple pen to make splatters because the Posca paint pens, you can just shake them, like flick them and shake them, and they'll splatter out for you. So I thought I was done at this point, and then I decided I needed some words. So I got out my Brother P Touch label maker and typed out a quote that I saw on the internet, and I didn't put the person's name who the quote is from, so I'm bad like that. Bad, bad. I didn't give the credit to the quote person, whom I'd never heard of. So it's not like it's a famous quote, but it really is a true quote. It's has multiple meanings to me. How the past is changed just by it passing, and that's kind of what this means to me. Past just quietly goes away, is covered up. So anyway, this is my day 29 page, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, subscribe if you haven't already, share if you want to, turn on your notification bells, all those things, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on the Art Joy of Sharing live stream channel for our live stream. That's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.